Happy 2020, everyone. It's January 1st, around noon here in Cleveland, Ohio. Sun's shining beautiful. I wanted to just send a quick message out to everybody. I know you all know this. Every single person out there that can see me, can hear me, even if you don't speak my language, you speak love. We all feel love. It's a universal language. It's God. It's everything speaking through us, and we're shining this love into the world. So that being said, we are all love. We're all connected. So I'd like to just share this information just to start fresh this year. I know we're not all spending this day the same as everyone else. We're not all we don't all look at this as the new year. There's a Chinese New Year. There's New Year's all over the world. But let's just set the tone for everyone. It doesn't matter what day it really is. It just matters that we start fresh, showing that we are all connected and we're all one. And the way I can best explain this possibly is if you look over here. These boards I drew, it's just chalkboard that I drew. But you can see here, we have the sun in the middle, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Terra is Earth. Now these aren't exact, they're not right where they need to be. This is just a general description so you can get an idea. But the sun is everything vibrates in this world. Everything in this universe is vibrating. It's all, science has proved this, but especially occult teachings, metaphysics, they really get into this a lot more. Everything's got its own resonant frequency. So water resonates at a certain frequency. Depends on what minerals are in it, makes it resonate at another frequency. Your body's resonating at a certain frequency. This plant in the wall is resonating. So each planet, each star, everything's resonating to its own frequency, its own harmonic. And that's made up of everything that's on it. So everything is a torus field. So we have a masculine and a feminine side. You can go either way. This is just the way I drew it, the way I saw it in my head. But everything is you think of it like an apple, for a quick example. So you have the dielectric plane right here where matter is created. This is the magnetic field. So think of the magnetic field of the Earth. So based on how this vibrates, everything else is going to vibrate the same way. So your atom, one atom's going to vibrate a certain way, another atom's going to vibrate a certain way. Combine those two and they're going to resonate a certain way. So it's all just accumulation of vibration. That being said, this happens on the planets too. So if everyone in consciousness, there's a lot of programs going on in the world now. HeartMath has one going on. It's the human. You have to look it up. I don't know the exact name. It's the Human Resonance Program or something like that. I'm not sure. I should have looked it up before I started this, but that's okay. Basically, it shows a bunch of random number generators all around the world, and in certain times, all the numbers will line up. So it shows that humanity, when consciousness is sensing something at the same time, it could be good or bad. Like 9/11, this happened. Everyone was heartbroken and shocked. Or when Princess Diana left us, there's certain things shift everybody. And the positives are far more powerful than the negatives. So, that being said, Terra, our planet, as well as all the other planets, vibrate based off of how we're vibrating. So if you look on this board here, this shows, it's probably difficult to see, I'll go slow with it, but it shows just proof of ancient cultures all around the world, their building styles, where their cities are now. Some cities are on the bottom of the ocean. Some cities are buried in mountains. There's Derinkuyu in Turkey. And I'll do another video on this board and get a better image of it. But the reason I showed that is because civilizations rise and fall all the time. The whole universe is cyclical. It's nothing to get upset about, but it's something to be aware about. So if our civilization is resonating in higher frequency, we're not fighting endless wars for no reason. We're not burning fossil fuels for no reason. We're using plant-based medicine. We're using plant-based meals. We're using plant-based fuels. We're using water for fuel. That's possible. You can look it up. The world will resonate at a higher frequency, and then we won't need the sun to shoot out a solar flare to reset that frequency. So basically, it's about setting our tone. You can see here, Earth is a bunch of, I don't think this is an exact where everything lines up right now, but it's just a quick general idea to give you to see that everything's connected. There's ley lines around the planet that we all know of. Anyone who actually looks for it knows. So it's all connected. It's all based on us, how we're doing inside, how we're thinking, how we're feeling. Are we sharing love with each other, or are we fighting over who cut you off in traffic, or a lack of funds for some gift you want to buy somebody, or whatever it may be. Those things are trivial. There's no reason to complain and argue about them. Resonate higher. Train your subconscious to resonate higher, and everything will balance out. Everything will be in harmony. And yeah, and I know this sounds probably like kumbaya and we all live as one, but in truth, our history has been lied. We've been lied to about this history. This board itself proves that at least what I was taught in school was a lie. We have resonated in harmony. We have lived like that kumbaya, everyone living together in harmony, many times. And then greed gets in the way, the ego gets in the way, the ego gets charged up more. That's not a good way to put it. Ego gets more attention than it needs. Instead of relying on the heart, on God, we rely on the ego. And then we divide. We get divided, in my opinion. There are people out there that are trying to divide us more and more. That being said, it's up to us to allow it or not allow it. So basically, we need to rise up above it, not let those things trigger us as much, or at all if possible, and make our culture, I don't want to use this term again, but make our culture great again. Our culture is great. And no, I'm not a supporter of any politician or any of those organizations, because I see that they're all used to manipulate us, every one of them. If they're in a palace full of gold that they stole from someone else, complaining about us not, having enough money for retirement, we have to cut costs somewhere. That's another story. Basically, send them love. Don't get mad at them. Send love to everything, no matter what. Just send love to everything, and you'll transmute it all. And we will rise up to be unified more, in harmony more. And then we can prevent, things like this where cities sink into the ocean or floods wash out over mountaintops. So Pumapunku, this is 13,000 feet in the air. It wasn't always 13,000 feet in the air. At one time it was sea level, but the continents shift. Earth shifts. She shakes up. The reason she does that, why else? Consciousness was out of balance. So if everyone, all the people on Earth, not all, but a lot, enough, who were out of balance, fighting and doing warlike things, something's got to give. Something's got to change that. That can't stay. The universe is built on growth, not stagnation, and not just destruction. There's more growth than destruction. That's what harmony is. Yeah, things have to shed away. You have to have fire in the forest for the new forest to grow, to get rid of the dead wood. But that's what these cataclysms are that we have experienced, and they're all in our consciousness. We all have those memories, and we probably forget them, a lot of us, but some of us still hold on to pieces of that, I think, for this very reason, to remind the rest of us that things do shift. Nothing is stagnant. It can't be. Not for long. So in order to let things shift the proper way, in a harmonious way, we can just treat each other nicer. Just work with our subconscious more, because everything you do, think, or feel, everything you see, everything coming into your senses is programming your subconscious, and your subconscious amplifies it. It's the dedicated servant. I don't like calling it that, because I don't want it to feel like it's a servant. It's not a servant, but it will do whatever we say it to tell it to do. So if you say you're going to be abundant, healthy, in harmony, in love with everyone, and shed love everywhere, shine love everywhere, it will manifest that. If you do the opposite, it'll manifest that as well. So what do you want your subconscious to carry through the world, into the world today? What do you want this year to be? Do you want 2020 to be a year of just continued political turmoil, just puppets playing us like, yeah, like a video game. Really, they're just like, oh, let's make these guys fight. Let's make those guys fight. No, just send them all love and say enough. We're adults. We've grown up enough. We can see the bigger picture now, and there's no need for this. There's no more wars. There's no more fighting over lack of resources. There is no lack of resources. That's an illusion. There's plenty for everybody, and there's plenty for us to do amazing things. We can literally raise ourselves up, clean this entire planet up, which it's not as bad as they tell us as it is anyway. There's more room on this planet than if you take a road trip, go drive around somewhere. Drive across any country you live in. There's room everywhere. Most of us are crammed in small cities. That's why we think it's there's a limit or a lack of resources. It's just an illusion that's being done purposely. So shine love, be love, remind your subconscious that you're love, and your subconscious will carry that on so much for you. They say your subconscious does about 95% of your life. That's higher for some, less for others, but even it doesn't matter. Even if it was 10% of your life, which we know it's way more, it's 90s. That's enough to want to train it to do the best you can, because it's going to carry on. It's something that you don't have to worry about. So once you program your subconscious to do amazing things, you can stop thinking about it. Let it go, let it do its thing, and it will do it. And you'll just see things pop up and show up out of nowhere. Just beautiful, harmonious things. So that's my message to you for 2020. Didn't mean for it to go on this long. Thank you for those who held out this long. And can't wait to see your videos. Thank you, and I love you all. Be well.